cambios del ensayo. Do you want me to pass you the last file? The thing is, it won't have if you make notes. No. Okay. I will share it with you. Do you want me to pass you the last one? Well, actually, no. Yeah, that's what I mean. So if you have notes.
Yeah, I mean, I have notes.
No.
The other side. It's
Then,
not any different.
no. I'll let you know. Recuerda, ve en el orden del. Vamos. Tú de aquí. Sí. Y no es porque te mejoró la vista. No. Ahorita soy igual de mal.
הנה מטוף ומנהיים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מטוף ומנהיים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מטוף, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנהיים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנהיים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. Let's sing together. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנהיים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. Let me hear your voices. I know you can do better than that because I know your voices. Now, big voices now. שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד. For those who already have the talit, let's say the blessing together. It's the only night in the whole year that we wear a talit. The talit, for those who might not know, is this garment that has four corners that allows us, according to the rabbis, to remember as a reminder of the mitzvot. One day when we do the workshop how to make a talit, I explain to you a little more about the intricacies and all the different details of how we remember, how we are able to remind ourselves about 613 commandments by just wearing this. And so let's say the blessing together. If we can rise those. There you go. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef batzitzit. Very, very nice. And when we think about the Me'arva Kanfot Haaretz, the the Kamfei, Shekhinah, is also the whole idea of the four corners has a relationship with the idea of being covered and wrapped in the talit as the Shekhinah, the divine presence of God in the earth, will really cover and wrap us as we are in the night, in a very vulnerable night of Yom Kippur. So as we start our services and our night and our evening, there's a tradition that the Kol Nidre prayer has to be chanted before sundown. But before, we have most of the synagogues in the world, they have a tradition to invite all those who served the congregation for so long, for so many years, as leaders of the congregation. So all the past presidents will carry the teachings, they carry the Torah, and they will go around. Am I right? Well, I got the notes. And we go around, you will have a chance to touch the Torah, to say hi, to thank them. Thank these presidents, this past president, whether the current past, immediate past president, or a long time ago. Thank them because you are here today in one way or another because of their leadership. So it's very, very important that you also say toda, gracias, or you say in English. How do you say in English? Thank you. Very good. You know, this is what happens when you're in this pulpit. You forget about English for 1 second. Now, we are going to invite all the past presidents and current president, Moshe Elder as well, to carry the Torahs. As we sing, if we open on page 204, a beautiful and simple melody on the words that says, Or zaru ala tzadik uleishrei lev simcha. Light is sown for the righteous and joy for those whose hearts are true. צדיק, זרו על הצדיק. ולאיש לב שמחה. ולאיש לב שמחה. ולאיש לב שמחה. ולאיש לב שמחה. Together. Or zaru ala tzadik, zaru ala tzadik. 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 ולאיש לב שמחה. ולאיש לב שמחה. ולאיש לב שמחה. ולאיש לב שמחה. Go Gaba! Let's do it, Yoel. Yom Kippur, according to the Talmud, is supposed to be the second joyous day of the year. So let all dance and rejoice because we are together. We are in white. We are as pure as when we came to this world. זרו על הצדיק, זרו על הצדיק. אור זרו על הצדיק, זרו על הצדיק. אור זרו על הצדיק, זרו על הצדיק. ולאיש לב שמחה. ולאיש לב שמחה. ולאיש לב שמחה. ולאיש לב שמחה. ולאיש לב, ולאיש לב שמחה, שמחה. אור זרו על הצדיק, ולאיש לב שמחה. אור זרו על הצדיק, ולאיש לב שמחה. אור זרו על הצדיק, ולאיש לב שמחה. אור זרו לצדיק, ולאיש לב שמחה. אור זרו לצדיק, ולאיש לב שמחה. אור זרו על הצדיק, ולאיש לב שמחה. אור זרו על הצדיק, זרו על הצדיק. אור זרו על הצדיק, זרו על הצדיק. אור זרו על הצדיק. going to light the candles of Yom Kippurim. We're going to recite the blessing together, then we're going to sing Shechayanu, and then we're going to chant the Kol Nidre. Thank you everyone for being here. Beautiful. If you get tired, you let us know, okay? We don't need. You're right. Let's bring the light of Yom Kippur to us. The lights of forgiveness, the lights of self-compassion, self-love. The lights of vulnerability, the lights of strength and courage. The lights of consciousness. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kidshanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu Lehadlik Ner Shel Yom HaKippurim. Amen, 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 amen. Let's all have a great journey together as we start today. Remember to smile, remember to dance, remember to be joyful. This is not a sad day. It's not a sad day. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam She'echeyanu Bekimanu Behigianu Lazman Hazeh. We're turning now. Again, we are standing for the prayer of the Kol Nidre on page 204, but if you need to sit down, please do. Page 204, all the vows on our lips, the burdens in our hearts, the pent-up regrets about which we brooded and spoke through prayers without end on last Yom HaKippurim did not change our way of life, did not bring deliverance in the year that has come. From mountains, peaks of fervor, we fell to common ways at the close of the fast. Will you hear our regret, God? Will you open our prison, release us from shackles of habit? Will you accept our prayers, forgive our wrongs? Though we sin again and again, and in moments of weakness, we do not remember promises of Atonement Day. Recall that we easily forget. Take only our heart's intent. Forgive us. Pardon us. Bishiva shel mala ubishiva shel mata al dat hamakom el dat hakahal anu matirim lehitpalel im havaryanim. By the authority of the court on the heavens on high, and by the authority in this court below, with divine consent and with the consent of this kahal, this congregation, we grant permission to pray with those who have transgressed. Vishiva shel mala, vishiva shel mata, al dat makom el dat akal anu madirim lehitpalel im Page 205, Kol Nidre. All vows, renunciations, bans, oaths, formulas of obligation, pledges, and promises that we vow or promise to ourselves and to God from this Yom Kippur to the next. May it approach us for good, we hereby retract. May they all be undone, repealed, cancelled, voided, annulled, and regarded as neither valid nor binding. Our vows shall not be considered vows, our renunciations shall not be considered renunciations, and our promises shall not be considered promises. First, we're going to listen the prayer of our musicians as they pray with the melody of Kol Nidre. וחרמי וקונמי וכינויים וכינוסי ושפות בתלין ומבוטלין דשרים ולעל הימים The entire congregation of the people Israel shall be forgiven, as well as the stranger who dwells among them, for all have erred. V'nislach lechol adat b'nei Israel, on page 205, middle of the page. V'nislach lechol adat, v'nislach לכל הדת, ונשלח לכל הדת, בני ישראל, ולגר הגר בתוכם, כי לכל העם, כי לכל העם, כי לכל העם, ישגע. Together ונשלח, 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 בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם הייתי לכל העם כי לכל העם כי לכל העם ישגע So Moshe Rabbeinu prayed, as befits your abundant love, God, Adonai our God, please forgive these people's sin, just as you have always forgiven these people from the time of Shemot, of the time of the Exodus of Yetziat Mitzrayim, until now. And there is the farther says, Adonai replied to Moshe saying, I have forgiven as you have asked. Vayomer Adonai salachti kidvarecha selach na lavonam hazeh kegotel chasecha v'chasher natzata laham hazeh mimitzrayim ve'adena. Vayomer Adonai together. Vayomer Adonai salachti kidvarecha. Vayomer Adonai salachti kidvarecha. Vayomer Adonai salachti Baruch atah Adonai, ruler of time and space, for granting us life, for sustaining us, and for bringing us to this day, this moment of Yom Kippur. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. All together again. Hey, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה, לזמן הזה. Return the Torahs to the ark. Thank you very much for being there, to be the steward of the congregation as president, past president. I always love this moment of the president and the past president all together. It's almost like a whole lineage. And each of you contributed so much to what we have today in a positive way, and we thank you for that, our dear past presidents and our presidents. As they are returning the Torahs to the ark, let's just let's review some concepts about about Yom Kippur. I don't need to ask how many are fasting, how many are wearing leather, how many are going to have intimacy tonight, how many are going to have makeup, how many are going to shower. That's not my business. But I already told you the 5 things that you're not allowed or you're not supposed to do. Someone asked me just now, is this written in the Torah? No, it's not written in the Torah per se that you have to really refrain from those 5 things. It's written later on, when the rabbis in the Talmudic time, they started to make up some of the rules. And so one thing is not eating. You can maybe sit it because I know you have been standing for a while. So one thing is not eating, so fasting. Okay, it's a dry fast. Dry fast means no water, no liquids. If you need to, of course, pikuach nefesh, to save a life, to take care of yourself. If you take meds, you're pregnant, whatever happens, you need to, of course, even start drinking if you decide to eat or finish the fast before, it's all fine as well if you need to do it. The second thing is that we don't wear leather. Leather is not because just leather. I mean, the idea is not wear luxury, not to really show off, with clothing, with other, with chains and rings and things like that. The idea is to be as humble as possible. That's why wearing white has been the tradition for many different festivals and festivities where people look almost the same also. Aside from being the color of the soul and purity and the angels, it also made us look very similar to each other, right? Whether you wear Gucci or, those kind of things, it doesn't change so much. Nobody's going to go and look. So the second thing that was that, the idea of not wearing leather. The third is no sexual relationships or intimacy. The fourth is makeup or anything that has to do with deodorants and those kind of things. I know some people schwitz like me, and the fifth is no showering. Or some people also don't brush their teeth and say, oh my God, going to shul, who's going to sit next to me? No deodorant, no brush your teeth. It's like, those are the 5 principles. What is the whole idea beyond that? How many of you know how many services we have during Yom Kippur? How many services in total from Kol Nidre until Neila? How many different services we have? You say 3, 6, 7? Oh my God, you're great. You say 5? Okay, raise your hand how many say 3. Good. Raise your hand how many say 4. Raise your hand if you say 7. Raise your hand if you say 5. Raise your hand if you say 1. Okay, that one we have clear. It's 5 services. Tonight, tomorrow morning is Shacharit. Tomorrow, later morning is Musaf. Tomorrow afternoon is Mincha. And tomorrow night, evening is? You all know that. That's great. So I will see all of you in Neila. Why am I mentioning this? We have 5 services. Now, why 5 and no 4 and no 3 or no 6? Because the Hasidim and the mystics already knew that there were 5 different levels to the soul. We call neshama. Everything we say soul, we say neshama, right? What is the neshama? It's the soul. But neshama is really just the 3rd level of our soul, according to Kabbalah and Hasidut and Hasidism. So, according to Judaism. So, tonight we are working on the lowest level of our soul, which is called the nefesh, and represents the ego. So the 5 things that you are not supposed to do, or we are not supposed, you can't, I do. No, we are not supposed to do today, the ones that we should mention. Remember? Fasting. Sex. Someone remembers sex very well here? Yeah, what else? The 3rd? Showering. You got it all. All those 5 things, in any spiritual practice around the world, anyone who will practice fasting for a spiritual reason will refrain from those 5 things. Why? Because those are the 5 things that the ego needs and wants. The basic things, right? Sex, food, showering, luxury, those kind of things. So we refrain from those. So tonight we already, as we start the whole idea of refraining from those 5 elements and the 5 practices and those 5 activities, we connect with the idea with the nefesh, saying to the nefesh, you know what? It's only one night. It's only 24 hours, 25 hours. It's not a big deal, ego. It's not a big deal, nefesh. Okay? What is happening now when I remove my ego and my nefesh from the picture? It goes straight to the 2nd level. Because I'm not thinking, I know some of you are not thinking about food, but tomorrow morning I will talk to you again, because you just ate. But the whole idea is that give me a space. Remember Smart Sule Smart, Agent 86? You remember that? Yes? Remember that the guy, remember the beginning of the whole series was like the guy will go through doors like this and the doors will open for him? You don't remember? Go back, not tonight, but tomorrow night. To YouTube. So that's what happened with him. That's what happens when we work with our levels of the soul. The more we work out and remove a little bit or refrain from certain things, the doors will open until Neila, that we get to the last of the levels, the highest level, that is called Yechida. Yechida comes from the word Yachid, means unity, oneness. So Neila, we are about to accomplish what is called Dveikut, the idea that we paste ourselves, we glue ourselves with God. We are one with God. That's what happened at the end of Neila. And it's the only experience in the whole year that we have 5 services to connect with each of them with the 5 levels of the soul. That's why it's an entire and thorough experience. I will encourage everyone. I know some people don't come back from Neila. Come until the end. I always say that to everything. Watch the whole movie, okay? At least once in your life. And you'll see the experience. Last 2 years ago, my son called me from Boston and says, Dad, I really thought I was there with God. He experienced Veikut. There's a moment of awe when we are all together as a community after doing the work. And if you hear the words of the prayers and you hear the words of the explanations and the different sermons and the melodies and everything, believe me that you'll get to have Yechida, to have oneness with God at the end of Neila. If you don't, I will return your money. So we are now on page 207 for Baruch. Please rise if you can. We open the ark. You're now turning to the bottom of page 207 for the first bracha before the Shema. Umavit yom mevilayla umavdil ben yom uvelayla Adonai tzvaot shemo el chai vekayam tamid imloch aleinu lalam va'ed Baruch ata Adonai Baruch hu Baruch shemo Amari v'Arabim Expression of love. You have loved your people Israel. You have loved the entire world with infinite love. You taught us Torah, mitzvot, statutes, and laws. You never withdraw your love from us. Baruch atah Adonai, who loves the people Israel. Ve'avatcha.
Oh
כבוד. ברוך שם כבוד, מלכותו לעולם ועד. Bottom of page 208 together. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך.
ובכל נפשך
וכל-
ובכל מילה.
והיו הדברים אשר אנוכי מצווך היום,
לבביך
ושיננתם לבניך
ודיברת בם
בשבתך ובביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ושרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We continue silently through the second paragraph 209, and then we will recite together, because we have a talit, the last part of the Shema that has the mitzvot of the talit. Last paragraph of the Shema, bottom of page 209. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בטיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תעתורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני ימלוך אלוהיכם אמת. We are now in the middle of page 210, celebrating freedom, the expression of freedom from the people of Israel when they were free from Egypt to the land of Israel. ומלכותו ורצון כבנו עליכם, משה בן ישראל לכנו שירה, ושמחה רבה ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך בנים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, אורה תהילות עושה. מלכותך רבניך בוקע לפני משה, עשה לי אנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם. ונאמר כי פדרת יעקב גלום יחרק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, ברוך responsively in English on page 211. Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully and to awaken again to life, our sovereign. Shield us, remove from us enemies and pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow, and remove the evil forces that surround us. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us and over all the people listening in the entire world and over Yerushalayim. Olamo Israel ve'al Yerushalayim. We stand up for the proclamation of the day. For on this day, atonement shall be made for you to purify you from all your transgressions. In the presence of Adonai, your God, you shall be pure. Second paragraph of page 212. כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם לטהר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם לפני אדוני יתקטל ויתקטע שמר רבה ואלמד יברח ילדים ימליך מקוטרי וחייכון ומכון ובחיין לכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב מימתום ישמר רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה בריחו לעילא מכל ברכתה ושירתה תוש וחטא ונחמתה תמירה מלמה ואמר לום We now recite the Amidah, the silent prayer, the one that we connect in introspection and also vertically with God. We recite it silently. You can recite and be guided by the words of the prayer book, the Machzor. You can also close your eyes, put your hands on your heart, and recite the meditations of your heart and your soul. We start on page 213, silently. עושה שלום, שלום, שלום במרומה. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. For those who are still with your Amida, please continue doing so. Don't get interrupted. We're going to open the ark and rise as a community if you're able. Turn to page 223 for Ya'aleh. This is the section, and you'll see this section repeated in the 5 services for the 5 different levels of the soul. It's called Slichot. Remember that a few weeks ago we had a Slichot service. The whole idea is to give us a little warm-up and a little teaser of what Slichot is. For the Sephardim, they have been doing Slichot for almost the last 40 days. Why the last 40 days, Slichot? There is one reason for that. Remember the last time that Moshe went up to the mountain? It was also yet another 40 days. And that's when he had the fight with God and say, God, forgive them. Forgive them. Guess what? That day started on the 1st of Elul, 40 days ago. And guess what? The day that God say, I forgive you because you asked me, it was today, the day of Yom Kippur. So everything makes sense now. And that's why it's a joyful day. That's why the rabbi said, there is no more joyful days than Tu B'Av and Yom Kippur. Our Father in heaven say, I forgive you, my son. I forgive you, my child. And I said this all the time, but because now we are mainly adults and we forgive and we forget how beautiful it was when our parents said to us, just give me a hug. I forgive you. It doesn't matter what you did. And that hug, that moment, that's the moment of Yom Kippur. That's the moment of our Creator forgave us. And we as children say, good. Who wants to be punished all the time? So as we say Ya'aleh, the first of these prayers of Slichot for the night of Kol Nidre, we elevate Ya'aleh, right? On La'alot, Ya'aleh. We elevate the supplication, we elevate the pleas, we elevate the songs, we elevate our voices so they can get to what we think God is in heaven, although some of us know that God is everywhere. But we elevate the prayers. You know what happened with those prayers later on? During Sukkot, they just come down through the schach, through the 7 days. The tkiyot, the shofar, the prayers, the supplications, everything went up there, goes down on Sukkot. That's why we need to stay in the sukkah and dwell in the sukkah for 7 days so we can receive the blessings back, the answers. Ya'aleh tachanuneinu me'erev. Page 223. תחנוננו מערב ויבוא שבתנו מבוקר ויבוא שבתנו מבוקר Sabbath evening, and righteous acts arrive with the dawn. Our redemption transform the dusk. May our suffering rise up at evening. Our forgiveness arrive with the dawn, and our purity transform the dusk. May our prayers rise up that evening, coming to you, God, with the dawn, transforming us at dusk. Yale Dovkeinu, the last two stanzas. Veyavo gileino mi boker. Veyavo gileino mi Last stanza together. Erev. Seated. We turn to page 225 to 25. Originally, the holy, the kadosh, meant that which is set apart, isolated, segregated. In Jewish piety, it assumed a new meaning, denoting a quality that is involved, immersed in common and earthly endeavors, carried primarily by individual, private, simple deeds rather than public ceremonies. Haneshama lach ve'aguf po'alach. We ask God, the soul is yours and the body is also your creation. You form it. So have compassion on your handiwork. If it's not even for us, just because you are the creator, just have compassion. The body is yours. The soul is yours. Deal with us according to your nature, which is compassion and kindness. Anesha Malach, page 225. Malach, We are now turning to page 229. 229, where we have the 13 attributes of mercy, the 13 attributes of loving kindness. These are the words that God on that 40th day said to Moses. This is the formula. This is the way. This is how I think it should be every time that we are mad, that we just don't get it. Every time that we are upset, we should apply the idea of the 13 attributes of mercy. Adonai, Adonai, El Rahum Vechanun, Erech Apayim Verav Chesed Ve'emet, Notzer Chesed La'alafim, Noseh Avon Vafesha Vechatan Venakeh. Adonai, Adonai, God, merciful and compassionate, patient, abounding in love and faithfulness, assuring love for thousands of generations, forgiving iniquity, transgression, and sin, and granting pardon. So when you are now, think about anyone that you might be upset with, someone you can't really forgive, someone that in your relationships that right now has been for a long time, might be a sibling, might be a child, might be a parent, might be an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, might be a friend, might be a spouse, an ex-spouse, someone that you hold grudges, and you can't really forgive them because you just can't, because they don't deserve it. But God says, look, I thought also my Israelites, my Israel children, they didn't deserve it either, and yet, Moshe, I'm giving you these 13 attributes of loving kindness and mercy. Apply them. The world would be much better if you are able to apply them. Looks difficult, but it's an exercise. When you go to the gym, it takes time until you get used to. It will be a much better loving world for all. Let's all rise as we recite the 13 attributes of mercy. The 13 midot of Chesed. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum Bechanot, Erech Apayim, Rav Chesed Ve'emet, Notzer Chesed La'alafim, Noseh Avon Vafesha, Vechata Venakeh. Together, Adonai, El Rachum Bechanon, Erech Apayim, Verav Chesed Ve'emet, Notzer Chesed La'alafim, Noseh Avon Vafesha, וחטא ונקי. וסלחת לעווננו ולחטאתנו ונחלתנו. Bottom of the page. סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו, מחל לנו מלכנו כי פשענו, כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח ורב חסד לכל קוראיך. We close the ark. We remain standing as we open the ark again for Shema Koleinu. Shkoyach, Shana Tova. For Shema Koleinu on page 233. Shema Koleinu Adonai Eloheinu Chus v'rachem aleinu. Not only we are here, but we want to be heard. When you are in pain and you go to a therapist, you want to be heard. Let's open the ark. When we have a friend and we want to talk to them and tell them what you just said, you know, it affected me. Please hear me, listen to me. Don't avoid this conversation, just listen to me. I want to be heard. Shema Koleinu, Adonai Eloheinu, hear our prayers, hear our voices. Adonai, our God. Page 233. Shema, Shema. From you. תעזבנו לעת זקנה. Do not cast us away as we grow old. Do not desert us as our energy weakens. Close the ark. You may be seated. Page 234, Ki anu amecha. Let's sing together. We are your people and you are God. This is a whole relationship. We are your children, you are our parent. We are your servants and you are master, your congregation and you are our portion. We are your heritage and you are our destiny. Let's sing together. Ki anu amecha ve'ata Eloheinu anu vonecha ve'ata avinu anu avadecha ve'ata Today, probably you opened the machzor, there was like a little handout, an insert. Try to find that little handout. It's like a single handout, single page. Some of you already read it and say, whoa, we have something new, different here. Wow. It's called a positive vidui. What is a vidui? Vidui is a confession, right? We confess. In all different religions, especially monotheism, we go and confess. We go to the church, we go to the priest, we confess. In Judaism, confession goes back really old to the times of the high priest, of the Kohen Gadol. They would go, they do a confession and say, I want to do an offering, a sacrifice. And that day was replaced by prayers. But the vidui that we have today is as late almost as 9th century, 13th century was added. It was different, had different opinions, like always, discussions, arguments among rabbis. And the whole idea is that you feel bad about what you did. But nobody likes to be told what they did wrong. So in essence, we come here and we pound our chest and we say, we did this, we did that, we did that. Sometimes, thanks God, we don't know enough Hebrew to know what you really are saying. You don't want to even know. And at times you say, why am I saying this? I didn't rob, I didn't steal anything, And then the rabbis came throughout times and explained, well, stealing doesn't really mean like getting this on your pocket. Stealing, you can steal time from someone. You can actually say to someone, I'm going to be there at 8, and you come at 8:30. That means that you robbed already 30 minutes from that person. So they tried to explain a lot of things. And then Avi Weiss, who is a rabbi in Riverdale, those who are from New York might know of Rabbi Weiss. He's a very wise rabbi. From the Orthodox movement, he came out and said, you know what? Why not doing a positive? Why not, applauding ourselves and clapping on all the good things that we did. And then we did this on Slichos 2-3 weeks ago. And with Marcela, with the Rebbetzin, we were talking and she said, I felt even bad too, that there are things that said that I did good and I didn't. So and there is no way to escape to your consciousness, to what you did right or did wrong. So at times we're going to do the original Ashamnu, right? And then at times we're going to do the positive one. And I want you to feel how you feel. We all different people. Sometimes there are people who feel bad just because they tell them all the good things they did, but they didn't. You feel bad. You say, oh, great, thank you so much, but I don't really deserve it. And you know that you don't deserve all those credits. And at times they tell you all the bad things you did. And you say, hey, I'm also a good guy. It can't be all wrong. So we'll find the middle, and you'll find yourself how you feel better or not. The whole idea of a confession, or the whole idea, whether it's positive or negative way or expressed in different ways, is that you realize that we can always do better. And that's the whole idea in this world, to really try to improve yourself, improve ourselves, just every day a little bit better. Nobody's expecting you to be perfect. Nobody's expecting you to be Superman. Why not? Well, my wife does, but no. But just a little bit better every day. A little bit of consciousness, elevate a little better. Let's try to do the positive one today. Tomorrow morning, maybe we do the other one. So we're going to do the same thing. You rise, same idea. It's written in Hebrew transliteration and also the translation. I'm not going to pound on my chest. I'm going to clap on myself for all the good things I did. Or you can just give you a little happy moment in your own. So let's start by doing this. And Jessy is going to do the English counting there. Yai da dai dai dai, ya da da dai dai dai, ya da da dai dai dai. Afno,
We have loved,
Bachino,
we have cried,
Gamalno,
we've given back,
Dibarno Yofi.
we've spoken great things,
Emano
we've believed,
Veishtadalno
we tried our best,
Zacharno
we've remembered,
Chibakno
we've embraced,
Ta'amno Sefer
we've chanted your book.
Yai la dai 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 Ya da da dai 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 Ya da da dai 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 Ya tzarno
We've created,
Amano
we have yearned,
Nachamnu avor hatzedek
we fought for justice,
Mitzinu et hatov
we've done all we could.
Ay ya dai 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 ay da da dai 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 ay 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 Nisino
We have tried,
Saranu lidot
we started to see,
Asinu asher tzivitano
we've done as you commanded,
Vedashno
we've studied Torah,
צדקנו לפעמים,
we've been righteous,
קראנו בשמך,
we've called out your name,
רצינו,
We've stayed in our will.
שמחנו,
We've rejoiced.
שמחנו.
We've supported each other.
Yai da dai dai dai, ya da da dai dai dai, ya da da dai dai dai. How did it feel to you to sing positive things about you, things that you did? Oh no, we are Jews. We like actually people. It's better than when they tell us the bad things we did. Yes. That's okay. You know, it's difficult to break with programs and everything. You may be seated. I'm going to invite the Rebbetzin, Marcela, to for the remarks for the sermon of tonight. After that, we are going to do the Al-Chet Shechatanu Lefanecha, the Al-Chet, Avinu Malkeinu, and then we will be ending our service for tonight.
A few years ago, I had the pleasure and the honor to meet Miriam, with whom I worked closely to help her improve her symptoms of depression and anxiety. Miriam was diagnosed with the Sombre syndrome, a syndrome that, according to my limited knowledge, science has not yet found a cure for. The syndrome attacks the body immune system. It affects the muscles, the joints, and the ability to cry, as it dries the eyes and the mouth, among the other symptoms. During our encounters, I discovered that my client hated her mother, hated every minute of her existence, and she will vividly carry with her all the negative experiences she had with her mother during their lifetime. She will use these as an excuse to be mean and manipulative to others, expecting them to understand and put up with her lack of awareness and sympathy for others. Her words and expressions were so harsh that as her therapist, will feel her anger in my own flesh. She was talking so vividly, so bad about her mom. My heart would pound with sadness. The anger, the sorrow, and the pain her mother caused her when she was a child was her letter of presentations. She had to stop going to school so she could help her mother clean houses to raise her brother and sister. She was abused, neglected, mistreated, and disrespected by her mother. She used to say, "My mother was a mean woman, angry and disrespectful human being that lost it all because she was a horrible person. She deserves how lonely she is today." Miriam started to look for therapy after learning that her husband, her partner in life for 30 years, was diagnosed with cancer. And instead of staying with her, he decided to leave the relationship. He will consider Miriam, his wife, a toxic, mean, and negative woman that he could not allow to be with during his time of recovery. As you can imagine, Miriam was devastated. All her childhood pain, all her disgraceful life was not enough. But now, she was being abandoned by the love of her life and the father of her children, all because she was considered toxic, negative, and mean. For Miriam, that was just inconceivable. She was in shock. Until that day, she had been the victim of all the problems, and she was unable to understand why. If she was a good person, why she was so lonely now? After looking into the science and becoming a walking pharmacy to stop the pain in her body and the symptoms of depression, she finally got tired, and this is when she decided to look for help in other places. It is interesting to notice that this syndrome attacks the autoimmune system. In other words, it is a physical demonstration of a self-hate and direct message of self-destruction because it attacks the capacity to defend oneself. This syndrome also attacks the capacity to cry, which means that all the pain and all the anger was stuck within. That means that she was incapable physically to cry. Have you ever been in that position of not being able to cry? Or being in such a pain that the only words you have available to produce by your mouth or through your mouth are full of anger, pain, or sadness? That you are mean by default, and that every word you say is merely a complaint or a criticism. During our time together, Miriam discovered that her mother was not the only reason of her emotional pain, but her stubbornness to see things in a different way and not allowing herself to be flexible or open her eyes to new views and alternatives. Were also the causes of her fragmented physical and emotional health. Soon after we met, Miriam accepted that she used her past and sad childhood as an excuse. She also used her husband as a therapist, thinking that she was the only one in need of help in that relationship. Her awakening and awareness started to open, and Miriam changed her ways dramatically. She learned to use her words wisely. She acknowledged her responsibility in the whole picture and learned that medicine was not going to do that job for her. She was now aware by the misuse of her words. She took responsibility for the reality she created through her words, and eventually her symptoms improved. Miriam changed her life forever. Not only changed her way of talking, but her nutrition, her friends. She even stopped watching news and even changed her quality of movies and books. In other words, she woke up. I really don't know much about medicine, but I know about the power of the words and what they do when you misuse them. I also know that thoughts create feelings, that feelings create words, and that words create realities. Whether you want to admit it or not, words are powerful, and they help to shape people's opinion, reactions, and outcomes. Gossiping, slandering, lashon hara, judging, and the difficulty to keep what we promise to do, they all reflect the real caliber of our heart. This evening is Kol Nidre, the night we as Jews come before the Creator so he or she can forgive the promises we are not able to keep. So he and she can forgive what we forgot to do for others or for ourselves. Why? Maybe because we were too busy playing the role of victim or the role of the lawyer, defending and justifying ourselves. It does not matter. It actually doesn't make any difference. The results are the same. Here I have a question for you all. Do you know what you are saying in Aramaic every year when you recite Kol Nidre? You already heard the translation, but I'm going to give you some words. All self-imposed prohibitions, oaths, consecrations, restrictions, interdictions. Do you know what interdictions is? Interdictions is when you do for others what they cannot do for themselves. You're making those decisions for them. I may prescribe for myself or for others from this Yom Kippur until the next Yom Kippur, which comes to us for good. We regret them all. All shall be hereby absolved, remitted, canceled, declared, null, and void. In other words, tonight, I can continue, but I don't think it's necessary. In other words, tonight, we're here to back up in all our promises, our words we said to others, or even to ourselves. And it seems that we were not sure what we were really doing, or we were just misusing our gifts of being able to talk. So we know what we're doing when we say something. We just sometimes play dumb. We're here to erase what we have created, what we will create in this world using our words, because we do not trust in who we are, and we don't know what we are doing with our most powerful tool, the words. We are here to annul them. Did you know that? Do you really want to annul everything you said this year? Did you know that you come tonight to repeat Kol Nidre 3 times to eliminate and delete the words you said to others? I'm sure you also said good things to others and to yourself during this year, during last year. Wow. What troubles me the most is the lack of accountability we promote when we as Jewish community have an entire night to teach people how to cancel their vows. But we don't have a night to teach how to use their vows wisely. Sometimes when I see these things, I ask myself, is there an agenda behind to keep our people ignorant of their power? Lashon hara is one of the worst transgressions there is. And instead of learning how to domain our tongue, we're here tonight to ask the Creator to delete the words, the vows, and the promises we gave to others without taking care of what we say. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty good. But why would I have to come to ask God to erase my words? I guess because I don't domain myself. I don't have dominion over myself. Or I don't mean what I say, or I don't really care if I promise you something and I don't keep it for you. Or because I am spiritually blind and my level of consciousness of knowing that my words reflect my heart and my actions reflect my soul is 0. I do have responsibility of the words that I say, that you say. What about this new year? We start accepting the power of our words and we use them with more responsibility. I invite you to use these words these filters when you are talking. The first filter, the filter of the truth. Are you sure of what you are saying is absolutely true? The second filter, if it's true, is it good? And the third filter, if it's good, is it useful? And the last but not least, please do not assume anything. Never assume, because your assumptions are usually based on incomplete information. We want a better world. We must start by taking care of the way we communicate to each other. Good communication is the key of peace, and lack of it is the key of war. Do you know why we say Kol Nidre 3 times? Do you know? Because whenever you repeat 3 times, you are using the most basic formula of manifestation. Our sages and rabbis also knew these rules and used them all the time in our prayers. For example, we just did one. When we say the 3 times the 13 attributes of mercy, also known as Adonai, Adonai, El Rahum, Behanun. But unfortunately, we don't see it. We don't know. We are so used to repeating what we don't know for years and decades and follow others without taking responsibility for what we say that we can be easily manipulated. And we don't know. You know, I love this night because of what it means. It means we're being forgiven for whatever we did and whatever we said, no matter what. But on the other hand, we annul what we say as we use words irresponsibly with a lack of accountability and sensitivity. We're here is a secret of manifestation. If you want to change your life, change your words. The way you talk, the way we talk, is the way we live our lives. There is an incredible exercise that I invite you to do. Record yourselves when you're talking. Make that exercise one day. Make that decision and play, kind of record yourself without, you will forget, and then you will start to see who you really are. When you see that record again, you'll be surprised of what you find. Today, I invite you all to use this gift of forgiveness with the awareness of knowing that we are also creators and we are able to create with our mouths. And that after today, we won't have the excuse to play the role of victims that we didn't know. Because when we talk, we create. Create your world and your universe as you wish. Your words are yours, and your universe is also yours. You have the power, you have everything you need to live the life you want. Let it be a year of accountability, responsibility, and wisdom. So next year we will not have to come and ask for forgiveness due to what we have said. Let's choose our words wisely. Think before we act and open our mouths with the compassion we want to be treated with. Let us use our vows with responsibility as the spiritual beings we have chosen to be. Have a meaningful fast and Gemar Hatima Tova.
We all rise, if we are able, for the Al-Chet Shechatanu Lefalecha, for all the transgressions. Is a longer confession, longer than the Vidui, the short confession. We turn to page 237. After the Al-Chet, we go to Avinu Malkeinu, Aleinu, and then we'll finish services and we'll see each other tomorrow morning. Let's read responsibly. Before a kavanah for al-chet, embarrassment not only precedes religious commitment, it is the touchstone of religious existence. What is the truth of being human? The lack of pretension, the acknowledgement of opaqueness. short-sightedness. But truth also demands rising, striving, for the goal is both within and beyond us. The truth of being human is gratitude. Its secret is appreciation. We have sinned against you unwillingly and willingly, and we have sinned against you through hardening our hearts. We have sinned against you through sexual immorality, and we have sinned against you openly and in private. We have sinned against you by defrauding others, and we have sinned against you in our innermost thoughts. We have sinned against you by scorning parents and teachers, and we have sinned against you purposely and by mistake. We have sinned against you through false speech, and we have sinned against you through foolish talk. For all these sins, forgiving God, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement. Olam Eloha Selichot Selach Lanu Mechal Lanu Kapernamu. We have sinned against you through denial and deceit, and we have sinned against you by taking bribes. We have sinned against you by the way we do business, and we have sinned against you in our eating and drinking. We have sinned against you in everyday conversation, and we have sinned against you through conspirational glances. For all these sins, forgiving God, forgive us, pardon us, and grant us atonement. Olam Eloah Selichot Selach Lanu Mechal Lanu Kapernamu. We have sinned against you by throwing off all restraint, and we have sinned against you by rashly judging others. We have sinned against you through superficiality, and we have sinned against you through stubbornness. We have sinned against you through empty promises, and we have sinned against you through baseless hatred. For all these sins, forgiving God, forgive us, pardon us, and grant us atonement. Olam Eloah Selichot Selach Lanu Mechal Lanu Kapernamu. Remain standing as the ark is open for Avinu Malkeinu, our last of the prayers for Slichot. On this Kol Nidre night 243, Avinu Malkeinu, we have seen in your presence. Avinu Malkeinu, we have no sovereign but you. Avinu Malkeinu, act towards us kindly. Avinu Malkeinu, make this a good new year for all of us. Malkeinu, forgive and pardon all our sins. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the good, for good in the book of life.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kadesh Aleinu Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu, Shema Koleinu, Shema Koleinu,
Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of redemption. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of sustenance. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of merit. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of forgiveness. Avinu Malkeinu, cause our salvation to flourish soon. Avinu Malkeinu, cause your people Israel to be exalted. Avinu Malkeinu, raise up your anointed with strength. Hear our voice, be kind, sympathize with us, accept our prayer willingly and lovingly. Do not turn us away empty-handed. Remember that we are but dust. Have compassion for us, our infants and our children. Do this for the sake of those who were martyred for your holy name. Do this for the sake of those who were slaughtered for their exclusive devotions to you. Avinu Malkeinu, do this for the sake of those who went through fire and water to sanctify your holy name. Do this for your sake, if not for ours. Avinu Malkeinu, have mercy on us, answer us, for our deeds are insufficient. Deal with us with charity and love, and redeem us. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Yein Vanu Masi Asei Manu Tzedaka V'chesed Asei Manu Tzedaka V'chesed Eloshiein. Together, Avinu Choneinu Vaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Choneinu, Ki ein banu mas, Asei imanu, Asei imanu, Asei imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, Asei imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, Eloshiein. One more time together. Avinu Malkeinu. Just your voices. Avinu Malkeinu. Asei imanu. Raise your voices. Asei. Tzedaka v'chesed. Asei imanu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu, Yein banu masi. Dark is closed. We turn to the middle of page 245, Kaddish Shalem. יתקדש ויתקדש שם רבה, ונאמר יברח כאילו תמלך מלכותי וחיי כל וכל בית ישראל פעלה בזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמרה ומבורך לעולם לעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתבהר ויתרום ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל שמי קודשה. אלא מכל ברכתה ושירתה ושפחתה ונחמתה דמינה מעלמה ואמרו אמן. יתקבל סלם לכל ישראל קודם לשמעיה ואמרו אמן. יש לומר בשמעיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. We arise for Elena. We open the ark. Page 246. עלינו לשבח אדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו We close the ark. For those observing your side or those who are mourning, please remain standing as we turn to Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish, on page 247 to elevate the souls for all those that we are remembering. יתגדל ויתקדש שמך רבה, וילמד יברח קירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמך לקודשה בריחו. לילה לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירם ועלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלם הרב עמי שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. We have words from the board of directors, our dear president, Dr. Moshe Adler.
Shana Tova, Gmar Chatima Tova. Tomorrow morning, 9:30, right here in the sanctuary and streaming. If you come a little early, about 9:10, you get a little spiritual warm-up with the rabbi. There's also a mindfulness service tomorrow morning, also at 9:30 in the Katz Pavilion. There will be a meditation class with Rebbetzin Marcela at 3:30, then a class on call to action, Jonah's message of responsibility to Kunalam at 5. That will be followed by Mincha at 6 o'clock with a very different telling of the Jonah story. Rather than reading the whole thing, we have a participatory Jonah play, and that will be followed by Ne'ilah. And a break fast for those who have signed up. Next week is Sukkot already, starts Friday night. There will be a Sukkah decorating party Wednesday at 6 p.m. Dinner in the Sukkah Friday evening. We'll have to reserve for that, so please call or do it online. Sukkot services Saturday and Sunday mornings. The young professionals are having Havdalah Saturday at 6 p.m. Next Wednesday, the week after, there will be a class and Simchat Beit HaSho'eva at 6 p.m. Kabbalah class starting Thursday, October 5th, 7 p.m. with a light dinner. Please reserve for that also. Dinner in the Sukkah also October 6th. Lots of things going on. Shmini Atzeret Simchas Torah the following weekend. Krasnow classes are back. Alan's class will be back after the holidays. We have all kinds of programs going on. Look at all those brochures and flyers in the back. Please keep coming back. We're open far more than 3 days a year, so please continue to come. Shana Tova.
We are finishing our services with the Igdal. Continue dressing and wearing white, which is beautiful to see everyone. The more the merrier. You'll see the difference. Even my binder is white. So Igdal on page 250. And be sure that you wish each other Gmar Chatima Tova and a meaningful fast and Tzom Kal to each other. We'll see each other tomorrow. Again, Igdal.
אלוהים חי ואיש טובה, מצטערת על מציאותו, אחד בן יחיד וייחודו, נעלם ולא נחזור לאחדותו.
דמות הגוף ואינו גוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו, קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון בין ראשית לראשיתו.
אינו אדון עולם, מאוד נוצר, ירק גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו להר, אין אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו.
גם בישראל כמו שמות, נביא ומעביד את אמונתו, תורת אמת נתן להמועל, על יד למיון לבב ביתו.
לא יחל להתפעל ולא יאמר גדול, לעולמים לסולתו,
לוקה ויודע שכרנו, מביא בסוף דבר וקראתו. אומר לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע רע כרישתו, ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לבנות מחכה קץ ישועתו. יחייב ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדיין של תהילתו. אם יחייב ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדיין של תהילתו. לשנה טובה תיכתבו, לשנה טובה תיכתבו, לשנה טובה תיכתבו ותכתבו, לשנה טובה תיכתבו, לשנה טובה תיכתבו, God is sweet, we wish you. Everyone.